Hey there nation, welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and welcome to another edition of Necro-Mondays, where we do weekly Necromunda Battle Reports with our Underhive Wars Necromunda Dominion campaign. This is battle report number 51 of that campaign under our little mini Meat for the Grinder mini campaign that we're running. And this is a four-way battle. It's fought between my four friends, Fresh Prince Belair, Dark Lord Mac, Iron Major, as well as Warlord Ace. My friend Warlord Ace, he's playing 9/11 of House Van Saar. Fresh Prince Belair is playing the Iron Sights of House Orlock. Dark Lord Mac is playing Section 8 of the Venators, and Iron Major is playing the Prophets of Rage for the Corpse Grinder cults. So this one is an Urban Renewal scenario, so what happens is that each of the gangs gets 6 fighters. They'll be trying to destroy a structure in the middle of the battlefield, and whoever ends up escaping before the entire battlefield collapses is the winner for this scenario. So we're going to play some background music real quick. If you want to see exactly what the gangs are bringing for this one, go ahead and pause, take a look at your own leisure. So that being said, let's get this battle report on a roll.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dying times here.
Alright, the scenario for this one is called Urban Renewal. For the battlefield, pretty much what you do is you put the tallest piece of terrain you have in the center of the battlefield, and this piece of terrain is called a structure. As you can see in this photograph, the crown complex in the middle of the table, it is the tallest structure we have in our terrain setting. That makes it the structure. Each of the gangs get a custom selection of 6 fighters per side, and of course standard deployment rules as always. And pretty much the objective is to destroy the structure. The idea is to bring down the entire dome because this structure is holding the entire dome together. It has toughness of 9 as well as 10 wounds, and once the structure is destroyed, the dome will start to collapse, and everybody on the battlefield will need to try to escape. In the end phase, the 6 structure, when it collapses, turns everything from the center of the battlefield 6 inches out into impassable terrain. Anyone caught in that must make a roll on the ender die to represent the fact that the dome collapsed on them. And each subsequent end phase, the collapse expands out by another 6 inches in diameter until eventually the entire table is taken up. Basically, every single time the structure takes damage, all fighters must take an initiative test or become pinned. If a roll is 1, fighter suffers strength 3 hits and is pinned. Also ending the battle ends when the entire battlefield becomes impassable, and the gang with the most escaped fighters is the winner for this one. For rewards, each of the participants who participate in this scenario will get +1 experience point, as well as every fighter who manages to damage the structure, they earn a bonus experience point as well. And of course, any fighter who manages to escape also earns a bonus experience point for that. For reputation, the winner, whoever has the gang member who has gang members that escape the most, earns D3 reputation points. Any gang member who actually has 1 member managed to escape, they get 1 point reputation. And of course, if any gang bottles out, they also lose 1 point reputation. So with the scenario rules over, let's go and talk about deployment real quick. So here's an overhead shot of the entirety of the battlefield. As you can see, all 4 of my friends have deployed their gangs accordingly, basically to the 4 corners of the table, and the center is the crown complex, which is the structure that they'll be seeking to destroy. Now, as for what their battle plan is, I really don't know what the battle plan for their friends are because I'm just the arbitrator in this scenario. All I'm doing is just taking pictures. And on that note, by the way, I have to really thank my friends for when it comes to these battle reports. And the reason why is because it takes a lot of effort to have all 4 of us be in this room. So what ends up happening is that when my friends move their pieces and they roll off and stuff like that, every single time I take a picture, basically everybody has to clear out, take their dice and their sheets with them, so that way I can take a photograph, so that way it looks all nice and really professional looking. So these battle reports actually take quite a bit of time in order to do that, especially if you got 4 players, because everyone's got to clear out this stuff so that way I can go in there, take a photo real quick, and then they can come back in and do their thing. So I do have to thank my friends for this one, because this one took a lot longer than needed to, the battle report did, and the reason why is because I made everyone clear out to take photos. I think the next time what I'll do is if I ever have something like this big again, I'll just leave the character sheets and the dice in the corners and just have my friends leave the rooms with their stuff, because they're really, really patient with me because I want to make it look really professional. So thank you very much, you guys, for actually putting up with that. So I do apologize for that one. But like I said, as for the battle plan, I'm not really sure what the battle plan is on this one because it's just my friends. I'm pretty sure their goal is to destroy the building and to escape, and that's really about it. So first of all, we have the Orlocks of the Iron Sights. So up in the front, of course, is Doc Dealgood. He is a Lugger Servitor. He's got a heavy carapace armor. He's got a Servitor close combat weapon, as well as a heavy stub with a mono sight. He's also got the weapons platform, as well as Ammo Hopper's special rule, so he's kit out to kill. Next on the left-hand side, that is Red Eye. He is a Ganger. He's armed with mesh armor. He's got a grenade launcher with frag and crack grenades, as well as a stub gun. Right behind Doc Feelgood, that is Torque. He's a Ganger equipped with mesh armor. He's got a last gun with demo charges. He's also got a bolt pistol, as well as a specialist skill. Next on the right-hand side, that is Tycho. He's one of the newer Gangers that got hired to this gang. He's got a mesh armor, a plasma gun, and a stub gun. And right behind him is Sterno, another Ganger who's armed with mesh armor. He's got a flamer, as well as a stub gun as well. And then right in the back there, that is the acting leader for this gang. That is the Knight Rider. He is a gang champion. He's got mesh armor, heavy stubber, auto pistol, as well as drop rig. He's got the connected skill, as well as suffering from head injury. And that pretty much makes up the deployment for the Iron Sights on this one. So up next is my man Dark Lord Mac. This is his deployment for Section 8 of the Venators. Up on the left-hand side, that is AWOL Al. He is a hunt champion. He's armed with mesh armor. He's got an axe as well as a bolt gun. He's got the fast shot ability. Next to him on the right-hand side, that is the special character Cal Jericho, the special character Bounty Hunter. He's got flak armor. He's got two master-crafted hotshot last pistols, a dueling saber. He's got filter plugs as well as a strip clip. He's also got counterattack, gunfighter, inspirational, spring up, as well as step aside special rules as well. Behind him on the left-hand side, that is the Saracen. That is the hunt leader for this gang. He's equipped with the last pistol with a hotshot power pack, as well as a sword. He's got armored undersuit, as well as mesh armor. He's got the House Delac legacy, as well as commanding presence skill, as well as overseal skill. And right next to him on the right-hand side, that is Red Cap Killer. He's another hunt champion. He's equipped with bolt pistol, as well as plasma pistol. He's got mesh armor, as well as a gunfighter skill. And on top of the Metro Terminal is Red Harvest. He's another hunt champion as well. He's armed with a long rifle. He's got a maul as well as mesh armor. He's also got the fast shot and clamber skill. And off to the side, using the Infiltrator special rule, this is Scabs. He's a Hive Scum Personae. He's also a special character as well. He's equipped with flak armor, plasma gun, a stub gun with filter plugs. He's got the Clamber, Escape Artist, as well as the Infiltrate skill. And that pretty much makes up Dark Lord Mac's deployment on this one. In the upper right-hand corner of the battlefield, we have 9/11, our House Van Saar gang. Taking up on point, that is Rune Dog. He's a juvie. He's got a body glove as well as mesh armor. He's packing twin last pistol, a respirator, as well as rag grenades. Right behind him, that is Tough Shakes. He's a Ganger who's equipped with body glove, mesh armor. He's got a last pistol, power knife, high star energy shield, as well as a respirator. He's also got a humiliating injury. Right behind him is Maddox, who is a Ganger who's armed with a body glove and mesh armor. He's got a rad gun, as well as a respirator and a last pistol. Behind him is Warjack. He is an Arachnorig. He's got twin-linked heavy last carbines, two servo arms for close combat, a plasma gun, a rad gun, and light carapace armor. He's also got the superior weapons array special skill. Behind him is Chopper, who is the gang champion. He's armed with body glove as well as mesh armor. He's packing a rad cannon. He's also got last pistols, suspensors for the rad cannon, so that way you can shoot like a basic action. He's got the marksman as well as the fixture skills. And then finally behind them all is Busta 9. He is the leader. He's got a body glove as well as mesh armor. He's armed with a combo weapon, which is a combination of last gun and plasma gun. He's packing a last pistol and respirator. He's got the overseer as well as commanding presence ability. And finally, in the back left-hand corner, we have the members of the Prophets of Rage. This is Iron Major's Corpse Grinder cult. Up in the front leading them, that is Sever Grill. He's a butcher. He's got a butcher's mask, plate mail, two-handed axe. He's got the Corpse Grinder cult icon, commanding presence special rules, as well as first into the fray special rules. And then behind him, of course, he's got his two Skinners. On the left-hand side, that is Garn Dramnir. He's a Skinner. He's got Skinner's mask, plate mail. He's got paired butcher chain cleavers. He's got the specialist and berserker charge special rules. And right next to him is Voss Hadun. He's another Skinner. He's got a Skinner's mag, plate mail. He's got paired butcher's chain cleavers. He's got the specialist skill as well as a berserker charge. And off on the side there, the right-hand side, we have two initiates. We have Banner the Eld. That's the guy there on the left-hand side. He is an initiate with an initiate's mask, flak armor, hand flamer, stub gun with dum-dum rounds, frag grenades, as well as the infiltrate special rule. And right next on the right-hand side, we have the Bloody Nine. He's a brand new initiate. He's got a boning sword as well as a stub gun with dum-dum rounds. He's also got the infiltrate skill as well. And that pretty much makes up Iron Major's deployment here on the left. And to the right of his deployment on the other side of the Tower of Terror, we have the Eightfold Harvest Lord. He's a special character. He's equipped with Butcher's Mask, plate mail. He's also got paired heavy chain cleavers. He's got fighting knife as well as a corpse grinder cult icon. He's got the Avatar Blood, Killing Blow, Slaughterborn, as well as Bounty Hunter special rules attached to him as well. So with the deployment over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 1, and all 4 of my friends roll off for initiative to see which of them will be going first. Alright, so as you can see here, we go directly to the top of turn number 1 for House Van Saar, and the first thing that ends up happening is that my buddy Warlord Ace decides to activate his gang leader. And since his gang leader is also activated, he also activates 3 other fighters. First of all, he does a double move with the Rune Dog as well as the Arachnareg Warjack. They kind of move up their double movement allowance over there to take cover behind the building there, as well as making their way to the structure. At the same time, he also uses his gang leader's Overseer skill in order to do double sets of activations for Chopper, his gang champion. As you can see, Chopper, he actually goes up the entire length of the water tower, going up to the very top level, spinning both of his first set of actions to do that. And then for second set of actions, he takes aim, he opens fire with his rad cannon directly across from to Red Harvest. Unfortunately, though, he missed the shot, so not much really happened from there. Up next, we go then with Dark Lord Mac for the Venators. He activates his gang leader, which is the Saracen, who then turned as a group activation. He activates Red Cat Killer as well as Cal Jericho. Both those guys do a double movement, moving up directly towards the structure, taking cover behind those Hesco barriers, so that when the next turn they start shooting at the structure as well. He then moves up the Saracen to the right-hand side of that shanty. Meanwhile, AWOL Al goes to the left-hand side of it as well, so that way they have a good line of sight directly towards the iron sights to the left of them from the House Orlock. And so because of that, both AWOL Al as well as the Saracen open fire. Saracen misses his shots, not much happens there. However, AWOL Al uses his fast shot ability. The first thing he does, he manages to put a serious injury directly onto Sterno. So Sterno goes crashing the ground, face down, he's bleeding out. He also has suffered a flesh wound as well. But because he got hit within 3 inches of all the other some members of the gang, they all had to take cool tests. And unfortunately for my buddy Fresh Prince Bel-Air, though, he just kind of dropped the ball on his cool test. So because of that, his guys start breaking. The first guy, of course, was Torque. Torque actually ran up right behind that little hedgehog there, the little hedgehog barrier, and stood there. But then, of course, for the second shot for AWOL Al, he opened up with that directly into him, managed to put a serious injury on that guy as well. To make matters worse, Tycho as well as Doc Dealgood failed their nerf test, and they run up I think 10 and 9 inches, I think it was, for both of them, running up right behind that shanty shack as well, taking cover, and currently they lost their nerves. They're just kind of chilling out into the end phase, not being able to do much of anything. So Fresh Prince Bel-Air then goes next. He decides to activate the Knight Rider, who does a group activation with Red Eye. Red Eye moves up to the left-hand side of the building to take cover there. Meanwhile, the Knight Rider turns to face off against AWOL Al, and he cuts loose with a heavy stubber. He does manage to hit AWOL Al twice, but unfortunately though, he missed both. He didn't manage to wound him, so because that AWOL Al is just currently pinned right now, and he is perfectly fine just laying right there in the open. And here's a close-up of Red Eye, who did a double movement to go to the second level of the building, so that way he can start making his way towards the edge to the window, so that way he can start opening up his grenade launcher directly into the structure. Iron Major gets to go next, so he decides to do a group activation with his Butcher, Siver, Griel, as well as his 2 Skinners, Garn, Dramnir, as well as Vasadun. And of course, all 3 guys just move along the left-hand side of the battlefield as quick as they can towards the iron sights, doing double movements in both of their actions. So from there we go directly back to Warlord Ace, who then activates Tough Shakes. Tough Shakes does a double movement to catch up with Warjack, as well as Rune Dog. And that takes us right back to Dark Lord Mac. Dark Lord Mac then activates Red Harvest, who spends a basic action to take aim with his long rifle and does 2 simple actions to open fire with his long rifle directly into Chopper, who's across the battlefield from him. His first shot misses, and the second one managed to hit as well as wound and put a serious injury directly on a Chopper. And the reason why is because of that knockback rule. Pretty much how it states the strength of the weapon is higher than the strength of the toughness than the strength of the target that you're hitting. You actually cause 1 extra point of damage, actually push the guy back an inch. Luckily for Warlord Ace, though, he did pass his initiative test, so because that Chopper is still up on the top of the water tower, however, he is face down and he is seriously injured and currently bleeding out, unable to do much of anything. And as for the final activation for the round, Iron Major then activates the 8-fold Harvest Lord, who does a double movement to the left-hand side, moving as quick as he can directly to 911. Looks like he's going to send that Bounty Hunter to start engaging into some House Van Saar fighters. So with the action phase over with, we go directly to the end phase. And unfortunately for Warlord Ace, he does fail his bottle test on this one, so because of that, he will need to take cool tests at the beginning of every phase to see if his fighters actually managed to stay or not, because Chopper Magic got hit. He rolled a perfect 5 on that one, so because of that, the value went right over the number of fighters he actually has on the battlefield. And to make matters worse, Warlord Ace also loses Chopper as well. He goes out of action with the out cold injury, so he skips recovery. He's perfectly fine, but at the same time, though, it's one less fighter he has on the battlefield. Meanwhile, on the left-hand side for the iron sights, my buddy Fresh Prince Bel-Air also has to take a panic test as well, the bottle test as well. Unfortunately, he does fail his bottle test too, so because of that, all the Orlock fighters will need to pass cool tests rather than for him to continue on the next phase. To make matters worse, his Ganger Sterno also takes an out of action result as well and gets an out cold result too, so he loses one of additional fighter as well. And over here in the top here, as you can see, what's his name? Torque. He does manage to get a flesh wound on this one, so he just flips over real quick. He does have a flesh wound token, so he's a little bit easier to wound. But on the next turn, he can still get back on his feet again. He can still act. He can still shoot. He is still a threat, even though he's a little bit weaker now. At the same time, Doc Dealgood as well as Tycho, both those guys managed to take their cool tests, and because they passed their nerve tests, so also giving themselves some additional experience points as well. So with that being said, the end phase over with, that takes directly to the end of turn number 1. So here's the end of turn number 1 as an early shot of the battlefield. As you can see, well, you really can't see them, but over on the left-hand side, the shanty town there on the left-hand side, that's where the members of the corpse grinders are located at. They're slowly making their way to down the bottom battlefield directly to the iron sights. At the same time, there is a trade of fire between the iron sights as well as the Venators over the right-hand side, and House Van Saar has already lost one of their first guys by being shot with a sniper rifle from the Venators as well. At this point, no one's really in the lead right now. It's still up in the air. So with that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 2, and once again, my friends, roll off our initiative to see which of them will be going first. So we go directly to the top of turn number 2, and once again the Orlocks get the initiative on this one. So the first thing that First Prince Belair does is he activates the Knight Rider. The Knight Rider does a group activation real quick with Torque. Torque gets up, sends a simple action to get back on his feet again to escape pinning, and he also takes a normal movement directly behind the shanty there, right next to Doc Dealgood, so that way he doesn't get shot at. Meanwhile, the Knight Rider then also kind of turns over to face off against the Venators and opens up with his heavy stubber. Unfortunately for my buddy, First Prince Belair, though, he misses all of his shots. So because of that, we go directly to Dark Lord Mac. Dark Lord Mac, of course, then that's also activates AWOL Al. So AWOL Al gets back on his feet again and opens up with his bolt gun using another simple action to fire off his bolt gun directly into the Knight Rider. His shot is good, manages to wound the Knight Rider, and because of that, Knight Rider goes crashing face down to the ground, currently with a serious injury as well. So things are not looking very good right now for my buddy Fresh Prince Belair. And I forgot to mention this earlier, he does manage to bring in Scabs. He just decided to come to the top of the Metro Terminal right next to Red Harvest. That way he can take some pot shots at the structure with his plasma gun, because he comes in the second round because he's got the Infiltrate special rule. So from there, we then bring in Iron Major. Iron Major gets to go next, and once again, he decides to bring in both of his initiates, Banner the Eld as well as the Bloody Nine. As you can see, Banner the Eld is right there on the top, facing off of the back of AWOL Al, and to the right of him, of course, is the Bloody Nine. He decides to activate Banner the Eld first, so he goes charging directly into the Saracen, but unfortunately, even though he did make the charge distance, he doesn't able to land any attacks or wounds off of the Saracen, so because of the two of them are stuck again in close combat for a turn. Meanwhile, my buddy Warlord Ace decides to do a Overseer ability with his leader, activating the Warjacks, because that Warjack actually gets 2 sets of actions. He spends 1 set of action to move up and to open fire with his twin-linked heavy last carbines, and a second turn to aim and open fire with his plasma gun directly into the 8-fold Harvest Lord. The attacks are good, and as you can see here, the 8-fold Harvest Lord just takes a bunch of wounds, goes crashing face first into the dirt, and he's currently bleeding out right now with a serious injury. So just like that, the right-hand flank is secure right now for 9/11. So with that, we go directly back to First Prince Belair, who decides to activate Red Eye. Red Eye spends a simple action to move up a little bit and a basic action to open fire with his grenade launcher, firing crack grenades directly into the structure. He manages to hit the structure, but better yet, though, he does manage to wound it by rolling a perfect 6 and put 2 wounds directly onto the structure as well. So because of that, it's about, 1/5 of the way dead. So because of that, kind of nets also additional experience point for Red Eye as well. So things are looking very up right now for the Orlocks. Meanwhile, Dark Lord Mac then activates Cal Jericho, who decides to charge back directly into the Banner of Eld, engaging that guy in close combat as well. But unfortunately for my buddy Dark Lord Mac, the only thing he was able to do, though, is put a flesh wound directly on the Banner of the Eld, and Banner of the Eld is still currently engaged in close combat now. So Iron Major then goes next. He decides to send in the Bloody Nine in order to help out Banner of the Eld in close combat, charge directly into Cal Jericho. Unfortunately for my buddy Iron Major, though, not much really happens, so all 4 of these guys are just kind of stuck on melee right now, not much doing anything to anybody. So we then jump across the other side of the table for my buddy Warlord Ace, who decides to activate Tough Shakes. Tough Shakes does open up with his last pistol, directly into the structure, but unfortunately, though, he wasn't able to cause any injuries to the building. So from there, we go directly back to First Prince Belair, who then activates Tycho, and the exact same thing happens. Tycho moves up a normal moon allowance, opens with his plasma gun, but unfortunately, though, he wasn't able to do any damage to the structure at all. And the same thing happens with Dark Lord Mac when he decides to activate with Red Cap Killer. He does manage at the building, but unfortunately, though, his weapon strength are not high enough and doesn't cause any injuries to the structure either. We then go back to Iron Major, does a group activation with his leader, Silver Gruel, as well as with Garn Dramnir, as well as Vasadun. As you see in this photo, all these guys do double movements across the battlefield, sticking to the left-hand side of the battlefield so that way they can flank directly into the iron sights. And so in this photo, as you can see here, he decides to activate Runedog, or the Ace does. He decides to activate Runedog. Runedog takes both of his laser pistols, fired directly at the building. And he also managed to slip another wound through with one of his last pistols, so that part was absolutely insane. He rolled 6 to wound, so that's why he's able to get that off. So because of that, this building is almost with a third of it being dead now. And for my buddy First Prince Bel-Air, for his final activation, he moves out Doc Dealgood his normal moon allowance and have another basic action to open up with his heavy stubber directly into the building. Unfortunately for him though, the weapon was combat and effective and didn't cause any damage to the building. And the same exact thing happens with Dark Lord Mac, where he decides to activate Scabs to open up with his plasma gun. And it happens over here as well as when Max opens up with his last pistol, wasn't able to do anything to the building as well. So with the action phase over with, we go directly to the end phase. And in the end phase, my opponent, Fresh Prince Bel-Air, he decides to roll to see exactly what happens to him for his injuries. He actually rolls an out cold result on that, so because it does go directly out of action, and at this point that my buddy Fresh Prince Bel-Air decides to call the game for himself, he just voluntarily bottles out, so his game just kind of retreats and no longer participates in the scenario. So with the end of the end phase over with, that takes us directly to the end of turn number 2. So here's an overhead shot at the end of turn number 2. As you can see, the Iron Sight are no longer participating in the battle because they just took too many losses, so they're currently gone. As you can see right now, the Corpse Grinders are out of position now because it looks like they're going after the Orlocks, but since the Orlocks left now, there's no one for them to charge into. At the same time, the Venators are still kind of busy taking on 2 Initiates in the bottom right-hand corner, and well, with 9/11 trying to cause enough injuries to the building to cause a dome collapse. So, with the phase over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 3, and once again my friends will roll off for initiative to see which of them will be going first. And so that takes us directly to turn number 3 for the Venators. And as you can see in this photo, my buddy Dark Lord Mac brought the pain. First of all, he decides to activate first with a group activation with the Saracen as well as Cal Jericho. And Cal Jericho goes absolutely ape. Managed to put a serious injury directly onto the Bloody Nine, as well as managed to put the Battle of the Eld out of action, putting a out of action result, out cold result directly onto him with his hotshot last pistols. And then of course the Saracen went next, then did a coup de grace directly onto the Bloody Nine, also put an out cold result on him as well. So my friend has been very lucky so far, Iron Major has, because none of his fighters have taken any permanent damage right now. Meanwhile, across the table, Warlord Ace goes next and decides to activate with the Warjack. Warjack charges across the building directly into the 8-4 Saw Lord and does a simple action to put him out of action with a coup de grace. So then they can do a bonus experience point for the Warjack as well. Meanwhile, Iron Major then activates his Butcher Silver Grill, then runs directly into the washing pool right there, as you can see right there, making his way directly towards the structure. And Dark Lord Mac then activates the Red Cap Killer, opens it with both his plasma pistol as well as his bolt gun directly into the building. And he manages to wound the building with his plasma pistol on a low charge setting, putting 2 more wounds directly onto the structure, bringing the total wounds to 5. So because of that, the building is now halfway from collapsing. My friend Warlord Ace decides to activate his leader Bussanine, so Bussanine spends a normal basic simple action, moving up his normal moon allowance, and then he takes a basic action to open up with the supercharge, I believe he decided to use, the supercharged shot from his combo weapon with his last gun as well as plasma gun combination. And I apologize, it wasn't the supercharged shot, it was just a normal shot. Managed to put 2 more wounds directly onto the building as well, though. Rolled 6s to wounds, so that part was absolutely fantastic. So because of that, the building is now up to 7 wounds, only 3 wounds away from actually causing a collapse. Iron Major then also moves up Garn Dramnir in order to catch up with his Butcher as well, right next to the washing pool, next to the shantytown. So that activation over with, we go directly to my buddy Dark Lord Mac, who then activates Scabs, who then sends a basic action to take aim with his plasma gun and another basic action to open fire with his plasma gun directly into the building. And he manages to slip 2 more wounds on the building as well, bringing the grand total of wounds to this building up to 9, which means that this building takes 1 more injury, this building will collapse, and the dome will start collapsing as well, at which point all the gang members will need to heli on and try to run as quickly as they possibly can out of the area and try to escape without being crushed by the falling debris. For the rest of the turn, Warlord Ace then activates Runedog, as well as Tough Shakes, as well as Maddox, and we just take this photo all at once because all 3 of those guys took shots with their various laser weapons directly into the building. But unfortunately for all 3 of these guys, though, their shots didn't really do much of anything, so the building is still standing. And Iron Major decided not to activate Vasadun and kept him exactly where he's located at because he is not in the mood to have this guy being killed by falling debris. And plus, he's so close to the table edge anyways, he can easily escape as well. So with the action phase over with, we go directly to the end of the turn. And here's a overhead shot of the entirety of the table at the end of turn number 3. As you can see there, the building is actually 1 wound away from being destroyed. And the funny part is, most of the gang members are actually pretty spaced away from the building right now, so they're actually doing pretty good. The only person that's not in the case is Red Cap Killer, which is the guy right next to the building right in the front there. He's the only one in the blast rays of this thing when it starts collapsing. But everybody else is pretty good and almost close to the edge, so if my friends play this right, they can actually destroy that building as well as escape as quick as they possibly can. So with that, we go directly to the top of turn number 4, and my buddy Dark Lord Matt gets the initiative on this one. So the first thing he does is he activates Red Cap Killer, and he does a double movement away from the building. Now, Red Cap Killer has a movement allowance of 6 right now, so you can move 12 inches. So he just throws sprinting across the battlefield directly to the base of the NCI terminal because he does not want to be in the building's blast radius when it starts collapsing. As you can see, Iron Major does exactly the same thing, activating his Butcher, Silver Grill, and then also activates Garn Dramnir. And both those guys do a double movement back to the left-hand side and join with Haas Hadoon, so that way they can escape the table as well when this starts to collapse as well. And then as you can see over here as well, my buddy Warlord Ace then decides to activate his gang leader, who decides to activate, I think he actually does a group activation with his leader, as well as Maddox as well. Maddox opens up with his laser pistol in the building, does nothing. However, Warlord Ace then opens up with a supercharged shot, actually this time. This is when he activated the super shot. And he opened fire with his plasma gun directly into the building. And boom, the building starts collapsing. As you can see, this Van Saar managed to level the entire structure. It goes completely destroyed, and everything within 6 inches starts collapsing. At this point, my friends have to take initiative checks to see if anybody freezes. Lucky for them, though, almost everybody passed their initiative checks. No one has to worry about that. Now, at this point, everybody needs to escape as quickly as they possibly can before this building starts collapsing at them by the end of the turn. So as you can see here, my buddy Dark Lord Matt then goes next as a group activation with the Saracen, who also activates Cal Jericho as well as AWOL Al, and those guys do a double movement right to the table edge, and they manage to escape. Vasadoon does exactly the same thing, just moving an inch to the table edge, that way he also escapes as well. And Warlord Ace decides to activate Rune Dog, who also moves to the table edge also to escape, and he managed to be just fine on that one as well. So with that, we go directly to my buddy Dark Lord Mac, who then activates Red Harvest. Red Harvest has a double movement and luckily uses his Clamber skill to repel basically all the way down to the bottom level. And of course, I'm just going to take photos of the rest of the shots because you can pretty much guess what everyone does. Everyone pretty much escapes at this point. As you can see, Maddox as well as Tough Shakes makes it to the edge in order to escape. The exact same thing happens with the Warjack as he managed to escape as well. And finally, the rest of Section 8 managed to escape as well for the rest of the turn as well. And the reason why is because they were so far away from the center of the building that no matter what happened, nobody would get caught on the blast rays of the collapsing dome. So we did kind of fast forward the action phase a little bit there to the end because at this point everyone was so close to the edge anyways, they managed to escape. But as you can see though in this photo though, the gang that had the most members to escape though was Section 8. They had all 6 of their gang members who managed to escape the battlefield. So because of that, they win the battle report. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That takes us directly to the end of the game with the Venators sneaking the win on this one by having the most people escape by the end of the turn. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go directly to the post game because this battle report is now officially over. Alright, so let's talk about the post-game, starting off with the Iron Sights of House Orlock. These guys were in 4th place. For the injuries, they suffered 2 injuries. That was a Knight Rider as well as Sterno, and luckily for him, though, both those guys came out with an out-cold result. For their advancements, Doc Dealgood actually levels up to level 2, earning +1 to his Bliss's skill, so now he's Bliss's skill 3 now. From their territories, from settlement number 1, they managed to earn 1 point of reputation as well as 30 credits, and from settlement number 2, they earned another point of reputation as well as 20 credits, and then from their tunnels, they also earned an additional point of reputation as well. With the 50 credits they generated from their territories, they decided to place all 50 of their credits directly into the stash. From the reputation, they got 3 points from their territories, but they lose 1 point of reputation from bottling out in the game, bringing their grand total right now to 37 reputation in total. Their current record now is at 5 wins as well as 8 losses, and their new gang rank now is at 2,465 points. In 3rd place, we have the Prophets of Rage of the Corpse Grinder Cult. For the injuries, 3 members of the gang actually got injured. Banner the Eld as well as the Bloody Nine both got out-cold results, so they make full recoveries no problem, and the exact same thing happens to the 8-fold Harvest Lord as well. For their advancements, Silver Grill actually leveled up to level 2, learning the Bulging Bicep skill, so now he can use his unwieldy weapon in one hand and have another hand to use a different weapon. At the same time, the Bloody Nine, Dredge Borsha, the Cutter, he decides to level him up to level 2, getting +1 to his movement, so now he's movement 6. And Banner the Eld also leveled up to level 2, learning the parry skills, so now he's even deadlier in close combat. From his territories, from his settlement, he earned 1 point of reputation, and when he rolled to see if he recruited anybody else, he rolled 2 6s and recruited a brand new skinner named Loken Flay for completely free, so that part was kind of nice. And he also earned 60 credits from his settlement as well. And of course, from this fighting pits, he earns 2 points reputation, as well as Tova and Avot to be used later on in another battle report. From the trading post, taking the 20 credits he had in his stash, as well as the 60 credits that he got from his territories, he purchased a pair of Butcher's Chain Cleavers for Look and Flay, and equipped him so that way he can fight in future battle reports. For his reputation, earned 3 points from his territories, as well as 1 point from the scenario, bringing his grand total to 15 points of reputation. His current record right now is at 1 win and 3 losses, and his new gang rank now is at 1,650 points. So in second place, we have 911 of House Van Saar. For the injury, they had Chopper the Champion, who just goes out cold, so he is perfectly fine. For his advancements, Bustin' the Leader, leveled to level 4, earning +1 to his cool. Tough Shakes leveled to level 3, earning +1 to his cool result as well. Rune Dog actually levels up twice, going up to level 4, earning 1 point to his ballistic skill, as well as 1 point to his cool as well. And then Warjack also levels up to level 2, earning +1 to his ballistic skill, so he's even deadlier at shooting now. From their territories, from their settlement, they earn 1 point of reputation as well as 20 credits. They get nothing from their corpus farm. They still get their choke gas grenades from the Sludge Sea, and they still get their two their 2 scummers from their fighting pit as well. With the 20 credits they did manage to get from their territories, they put all 20 credits directly into the stash. For reputation, they earn 1 point of reputation from their territories, as well as 1 point of reputation from the scenario. However, they do lose a point because they did ball it out, so that brings their grand total to 29 reputation in total. The new record now is at 3 wins, as well as 7 losses, and the new gang rank now is at 2,935 points. And in first place, winning the scenario, is Section 8 of the Venators. For the injuries, they suffered no injuries in this battle report, so they're perfectly fine. For their advancements, Red Cap Killer leveled up to level 7. He learned the fast shot skill, so now he can shoot his pistols, both of his pistols, twice now, and even deadlier now with shooting. Red Harvest leveled up to level 5, earning the marksman skill, so that way he can shoot anybody he wants now. And then AWOL Owl leveled up to level 4, getting hip shooting, so that way he can shoot and move at exactly the same time. From their territories, from their settlement, they earn 1 point of reputation, as well as 10 credits. From their gambling den, they earned 2 points of reputation for that. And they also captured a toll crossing on our map, earning them 15 credits from that as well. And the trading post, they took the 25 credits they managed to raise from their territories, and they put it directly in the stash. For their reputation, they earned 3 points of reputation from their territories, as well as 3 from the scenario, bringing their grand total to 36 points in total. The new record now is at 7 wins, as well as 5 losses, and the new gang rank now is at 2,860 points. So that's going to do it for this one, you guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest greatest hobby information regarding this channel. That's going to do it for this one, you guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out and stay classy.